Dear students, today's topic of my lecture alternating current chapter 7 part 1. So what we have to learn in this chapter, it is here that I will discuss alternating EMF and alternating current, then average or mean value of alternating EMF and current. After that, root mean square value of alternating EMF and current, then AC circuit with resistor. After that, AC circuit with inductor, and at last AC circuit with capacitor. Then the behavior of all three components in DC as well as in AC, that we have to discuss. So one by one I explain. The first topic is alternating EMF and current. So alternating EMF is that EMF which continuously changes in magnitude and the direction changes periodically. And similarly, the alternating current is that current whose magnitude changes continuously and direction changes periodically. That is known as alternating EMF and alternating current. And you see that its graphical representation is here. We have to take alternating EMF and alternating current on y axis, and on x axis we take time as well as omega t, that is theta equal to omega t. Now you see here, as we know that alternating EMF is represented by E equal to E naught sin omega t. Similarly, the alternating current is represented by I equal to I naught sin omega t. So you see that here in the graph, this blue line that is representing the alternating EMF and the green line that representing the alternating current. And the maximum value is represented by I naught, and maximum value for alternating current is represented by E naught. Then you see that for both alternating EMF and alternating current, the magnitude of the current and the voltage changes continuously and the direction changes periodically. So this is the representation of the alternating EMF and alternating current. Similarly, if we take in place of sine function, cosine function, then the graph is like that. If we say that E equal to E naught cos omega t and I equal to I naught cos omega t. So in that condition, the graph starts from here, because at theta equal to 0, the value of cos 0 is maximum. So that's why the graph started from maximum value. But the magnitude changes continuously and the direction changes periodically. So it is represented in the graph. So this is about alternating EMF and alternating current. And as I already told you that E naught is maximum current, E naught is the maximum alternating EMF, I naught is the maximum alternating current, E and I are the instantaneous value of alternating EMF and alternating current. Omega is angular frequency, T is the instantaneous time, and omega t that we call phase. So in the first diagram you see that alternating EMF and alternating current both are in the same phase. Similarly, in the second diagram also they are in the same phase. Now the representation of the alternating AC source is here. Like that we have to represent the source of alternating EMF, or we can say that symbol of AC source. Now the new topic is average or mean value of alternating current. So you understand like that here, average or mean value of alternating current over to the half cycle we always calculate average or mean value of alternating current over half cycle, because at the complete cycle it is zero, because alternating EMF and alternating current, they have two cycles, one is positive, another one is negative. So they have one positive value and negative value. So when we take the complete cycle, then the average value of alternating EMF and alternating current becomes zero. So that's why always we calculate average or mean value of alternating current over the half cycle, and that is a steady current or the constant current which will send the same amount of the charge in a given circuit in the time of half cycle as is sent by alternating current in the same circuit in the same time. Then that is known as average or mean value of alternating current. So what we have to do, first we calculate that how much charge is sent by alternating current through a circuit in the time of half cycle. Then after that we take the steady current in the same circuit in the same time, and then we calculate an expression for alternating current, and after that for alternating EMF. So let alternating current be represented by I equal to I naught sin omega t, and the charge dq equal to I dt, that is I is equal to dq upon dt. Now we substitute the value of I from here in place of this I, the value of I from here. So that becomes dq equal to I naught sin omega t dt. Now this is the small amount of the charge sent by alternating current. So total charge sent by alternating current over to the half cycle, we have to integrate it. So integral 0 to q limits dq equal to 0 to t by 2 limits I naught sin omega t dt. Then here I naught is constant, so you take outside, and integration dq is q. So q equal to I naught and integration 0 to t by 2 sin omega t dt. Now the integration of the sin omega t dt, and that is minus cos omega t upon omega, and limits are 0 to t by 2. So equation becomes q equal to I naught within bracket minus cos omega t upon omega 0 to t by 2. This integral sin omega t dt, that we have to use the formula sin nx dx, that is minus cos nx upon n, that is the coefficient comes in the denominator. So now put the upper limit, then minus lower limit. So before that we take omega outside, of course the negative sign also, and keeping the value of in place of omega t later on, that is equal to 2 pi. So first we calculate here after substituting the value of limits, that is upper limit minus lower limit. So we take common minus I naught upon omega outside, here you can see, and now put limits in place of the variable omega t, that is the variable is t. So in place of this t we have to write t by 2. So cos omega t by 2 minus cos 0. Now in place of this omega t we write this 2 pi, and how it comes, as you know that omega equal to 2 pi f, and f is frequency which is 1 upon time period. So that's why omega t equal to 2 pi. Then the equation becomes minus I naught upon omega within bracket cos 2 pi upon 2 minus 1. Cos 0 is 1. And this 2 and this 2 get cancelled. Now cos pi is minus 1. So minus I naught upon omega minus 1 minus 1. So that becomes minus 2. And this is minus and minus 2. So plus 2. So that's why you will get finally q equal to 2 I naught upon omega, right? Now you mark this equation number 1. Now come to the first part of the definition, that is, it is that steady current which will send the same amount of charge in the same circuit in the time of half cycle. So we say that this Q equal to 2 I naught upon omega, this much of the charge is sent by alternating current over to its half cycle. Let Im or IAB is the mean or average value of alternating current as per definition, that is equal to Q upon T by 2. Now from here the Q is equal to I average T by 2. Now from equation 1 and 2 we have to solve it, and we get I average T by 2 equal to 2 I naught upon omega, and you substitute in place of omega 2 pi upon capital T by using this formula. So you will get 2 I naught T upon 2 pi. Then after that what you will get? You will get I average or I mean equal to, you cancel this 2 and this 2. So what you will get here? 2 I naught upon pi. Of course this T also gets cancelled. So finally you have I average equal to I mean equal to 2 I naught upon pi. Now you substitute the value of the pi is 3.14, and when you solve it then you will get 0.637 I naught. So average or mean value is equal to 0.637 times of maximum value of alternating current. Similarly, we have to calculate average or mean value of alternating EMF. Only you have to replace I by E. So E average equal to E mean equal to 2 E naught upon pi. So that is equal to 0.637 E naught. Now, as I told you that average or mean value of alternating current or alternating EMF is always calculated over to the half cycle, because over to a complete cycle it is 0, as it has positive and negative value. So that's why it gets cancelled. So you remember it and keep in your mind. Now the another topic is root mean square or virtual or effective value of alternating current. Now it is defined as the effective or RMS value of alternating current is that steady current or constant current which, when flowing through a given resistance for a given time, produces the same amount of heat as produced by the alternating current when flowing through the same resistance for the same time. It is also called virtual value of alternating current, and it is represented by IRMS or I effective or IV. So from here what we say that first we have to calculate that amount of heat produced by alternating current through a given resistance in the time of complete cycle, and the same amount of the heat is produced by that steady current through the same resistance in the same time, that is the time of one complete cycle. So one by one we calculate and then we equate. After that we will get an expression for RMS value of alternating current and alternating EMF. So here we say that let alternating current be represented by I equal to I naught sine omega t. So this omega is here, not here. basically right omega. So mark this equation 1. If this alternating current that flows through a resistance, say R, for a small time dt, then the small amount of the heat produced, which is given by dH equal to I square R dt. Now in place of this I, we have to write the value of I from equation 1, that is I naught sine omega t, and it is a square, so that's why it is complete square R dt, which is equal to, open it, then I naught square R sine square omega t dt. In one complete cycle, that is from 0 to capital T, the total amount of the heat produced in resistance R is given by, we have to integrate it, H equal to integral from 0 to H dH equal to, now this dH is I naught square R sine square omega t. So we substitute this value here, that is integration 0 to T I naught square R sine square omega t. So finally the equation becomes H equal to integral 0 to T I naught square R sine square omega t dt. Then this sine square omega t can be written as 1 minus cos 2 omega t upon 2. By, you know the formula, cos 2 theta equal to cos square theta minus sine square theta. So from that formula we can calculate it and find sine square theta equal to 1 minus cos 2 theta upon 2, and theta is omega t. So we have to substitute here. We take outside I naught square R and integration 0 to T 1 minus cos 2 omega t upon 2 dt. Now the integration becomes easy for you. Now then we take 2 outside, so I naught square R upon 2, and within bracket is, we separate it, integral 0 to T 1 dt minus integration 0 to T cos 2 omega t dt. Now similarly, as you earlier you have done for the sine 2 omega t, then you do here for the integration for cos 2 omega t. So that comes sine 2 omega t upon 2 omega. The same formula that we have to use. So that comes to be I naught square R upon 2 within bracket, integration dt is t minus sine 2 omega t upon 2 omega, limits 0 to capital T. Then you substitute the upper limit minus lower limit. So it comes I naught square R by 2, and in place of this small t, which is variable, we put the limits capital T minus 0 minus within bracket sine 2 omega t upon 2 omega minus sine 0. And now in place of omega t, we have to write 2 pi. So what you will get, equal to I naught square R upon 2, and here it is t minus sine 2 into 2 pi upon 2 omega, because sine 0 is 0. Now it becomes sine 4 pi. So sine 4 pi is also 0. So that's why you will get this factor is also now becomes 0. So you will get finally H equal to I naught square RT by 2. Means this much of the heat produced by alternating current in resistance R over to the one complete cycle. Mark this equation number 1. Now from the first part of the definition, it is that steady current which will flowing through the same resistance R produces the same amount of the heat over to the one complete cycle, that is in the same time. So that we have to write, if we say that IRMS, IRMS be the RMS value of alternating current, then the amount of the heat produced in the resistance R in the same time, that is over to the one complete cycle, is given by H equal to I RMS square RT. Mark this equation number 2. Now from equation 1 and 2, we get I RMS square RT equal to I naught square RT by 2. So from here you see that this RT and this RT get cancelled, and now you will get I RMS square equal to I naught square upon 2. When we remove the square, then we will get I RMS equal to I naught upon root 2. Mark this equation number 3. When you substitute the value of root 2, that is 1.414, and when we calculate it, then it comes IRMS equal to 0.707 I naught. So this is the RMS value of alternating current. Similarly, we can find out for alternating EMF only by replacing I by E. So ERMS equal to E naught upon root 2, and similarly we will get ERMS equal to 0.707 E naught. Mark this equation number 4. Now, important tips. Whenever you are having a AC circuit, and at that time the voltage which you are getting, and that is always RMS value. So the first tip is the given value of alternating EMF and current are virtual values unless otherwise specified. Virtual values means RMS values or effective values. So that's why we say that if in a circuit 220 volt is applied, then that 230 volt AC means ERMS, EV virtual, effective, that is equal to 230 volt. And second tip is AC ammeter and AC voltmeter read the RMS value of alternating current and voltage respectively. They are also called hot wire meters. And the third one is the scale of DC meter is linearly graduated, whereas scale of AC meters is not evenly graduated because H is directly proportional to I square. So this is about the tips which you remember it when you apply the concept for solving the conceptual problems and numericals. Now we take another topic, AC circuit with a pure resistor. Means a AC circuit in which only the resistor is there, no other components. So in that condition, if we say that we consider a pure resistor of resistance R, you can see here in the diagram, and that is connected to an alternating source of EMF E equal to E naught sine omega t, and that is marked by equation number 1. If I is the current at that instant, then I is equal to E upon R, and the value of the E from equation 1 you substitute here, then you will get I equal to E naught sine omega t upon R, where E naught upon R is the maximum current, that is I naught. Then that equation becomes I equal to I naught sine omega t. Mark this equation number 2. Now we compare equation 1 and 2. Then from equation 1 and 2, what we get or what we conclude? Means alternating EMF and alternating current both are in same phase. So when a AC circuit containing only resistor of resistance R, then we say that alternating EMF and alternating current, they are in the same phase. And you see here in the graphical representation, here the alternating EMF is represented by the blue line and alternating current is represented by the red line. So both are starting from origin, that is from point O. And here the value of both alternating EMF and alternating current is 0. So they are in same phase, and when they reaches here, then the phase is pi for both alternating EMF and alternating current. So that's why we say that they are in same phase. So this is the graphical representation of alternating EMF and alternating current in case of AC circuit containing the resistor only. Now here we have to represent alternating EMF and alternating current in phasor diagram. So these arrows, they are the phasor. Since both are in the same phase, so that's why the arrows are along the same line. This is blue arrow, that is phasor for alternating EMF, and red one is for alternating current, and omega t is phase. So both are in the same phase, so that's why both phasor for alternating EMF and alternating current are in the same direction. So that's why we say that the alternating EMF and alternating current are in same phase, and their phasor diagram and graphical diagrams are given here. Now similarly, we can also find out phase relationship when AC circuit containing only the pure inductor. So in that condition, we say that consider a pure inductor of inductance L connected to the alternating source of EMF E equal to E naught sin omega t. Mark this equation number 1. Now as you know that when the current passes through the inductor of inductance L, then an EMF is induced, and that induced EMF E equal to minus L di upon dt. In order to maintain the flow of current, the applied EMF must be equal and opposite to the induced EMF. So that's why E equal to L di upon dt. Basically it is E equal to minus bracket में induced EMF. Since induced EMF is minus L di upon dt, so minus minus that becomes plus. So that's why it comes E equal to L di upon dt. Now substitute the value of E from equation number 1, that is E naught sin omega t equal to L di upon dt. Rearrange it, then you will get di equal to E naught upon L sin omega t. Now you integrate it. So when you integrate it, then you will get integral di equal to E naught upon L. You take outside the integration sin omega t dt. So sin omega t dt integration is minus cos omega t upon omega. So I equal to, you will get integration di is I equal to E naught upon omega L within bracket is minus cos omega t. It is minus cos omega t upon omega, and that omega we write here. So it becomes E naught upon omega L within bracket minus cos omega t. And this minus cos omega t can be written as, in terms of the sign, we can write sin omega t minus pi by 2. And this E naught upon omega L. This omega L is XL, that is inductive reactance, and this E naught upon XL or omega L, this is maximum current. So I equal to I naught, and this minus cos omega t can be written as sin omega t minus pi by 2. Then you mark this equation number 2, and whatever I say that it is written over here, that is I naught equal to E naught upon omega L, and XL equal to omega L, which is equal to E naught upon I naught, where XL is called inductive reactance and its unit is ohm. So it also opposes the flow of current. Now we compare the equation 1 and 2. Then from equation 1 and 2, what we get? We get that alternating current lags behind the alternating EMF by the phase angle pi by 2. This is minus pi by 2. Its meaning is lags behind the phase angle pi by 2. In other words, we can say that alternating EMF leads the alternating current by the phase angle pi by 2. So both the statements are correct. Either you say that alternating currents lags behind the alternating EMF by the phase angle pi by 2, or you say that alternating EMF leads the alternating current by the phase angle pi by 2. Now its graphical representation and the phasor diagram you can see here. Since it is lagging behind, so that's why the current that starts just below to the x-axis. So it is starting from here and passes through pi by 2. So that indicates that the alternating current is lagging behind the alternating EMF by the phase angle pi by 2. Similarly, when you draw the phasor diagram, then this blue line is representing the phasor of alternating EMF. Since it is lagging behind, so that's why the red arrow of alternating current that goes down and it makes an angle pi by 2 with the phasor of alternating EMF. So this is the representation of the phasor diagram of alternating EMF and alternating current, which are associated with AC circuit in terms of the pure inductor. Now another topic is AC circuit with a capacitor. So similarly we consider a capacitor of capacitance C connected to an alternating source of EMF E, that is E equal to E naught sin omega t. Then mark equation number 1, and the potential difference across the capacitor that must be equal to the applied EMF. So that's why we say that V equal to Q upon C equal to E. Then you substitute the value of E from equation number 1. Then it becomes Q equal to CE, and the value of E is E naught sin omega t. So you will get Q equal to C E naught sin omega t. Since the current I is equal to dq upon dt, then you substitute this value of the Q in the expression of I equal to dq upon dt, then that becomes I equal to d upon dt C E naught sin omega t. So it is a differentiation with respect to the time. C E naught you take outside, which is constant, and then the differentiation of sin omega t, that is omega cos omega t. So rearrange this expression and we write I equal to E naught upon 1 upon omega c cos omega t. This 1 upon omega c is called capacitive reactance. This is represented by Xc, and E naught upon 1 upon omega c, that is the maximum current. So you will get the expression now I equal to I naught, and cos omega t can be written as sin omega t plus pi by 2. Mark this equation number 2. And whatever I told you, that is written over here, that where I naught equal to E naught upon 1 upon omega c and Xc equal to 1 upon omega c, which is equal to E naught upon I naught. And Xc is called capacitive reactance. Its SI unit is ohm. Now we compare the equation 1 and 2, and it is very clear from the equation 1 and 2, alternating current leads the alternating EMF by the phase angle pi by 2. Now we draw here its graphical representation and the phasor diagram. So in case of this, the current is leading by phase angle pi by 2. So that's why the graph for the current that starts from positive value, that is above to the x-axis, and that passes to the pi by 2, and this blue line is for alternating EMF. Then this is representation of alternating current leads the alternating EMF by the phase angle pi by 2. So this is a graphical representation. Now the phasor diagram, you can see that here the current leads the alternating EMF by the phase angle pi by 2. So that's the graph of phasor diagram of alternating EMF, and alternating current is here. Blue line is representing the phasor of alternating EMF. Red line is representing the phasor of alternating current. Since current leads, that's why its value have up to the x-axis. So this is about AC circuit containing capacitor only. Now the variation of frequency with XL as well as XC. In case of the resistance, the behavior of resistance in both AC and DC is the same. But in case of inductive reactance and capacitive reactance, it varies with frequency. So that's why you have to understand this concept. Variation of XL with frequency, as we know that XL equal to omega L and omega equal to 2 pi f, and when you substitute this value here, then XL becomes XL equal to 2 pi FL. 2 pi L is constant, that's why XL is directly proportional to frequency. So when you plot the graph, then it comes to be a straight line passes through the origin. As the frequency increases, then XL also increases. But in case of XC, XC equal to 1 upon omega C and omega is 2 pi F. When you substitute it, then you will get XC equal to 1 upon 2 pi FC. Then XC is inversely proportional to the frequency. So as the frequencies increases, then XC decreases. So you see that here the graph, as the frequency increases, then XC decreases. So these are the two graphs, one for the inductive reactance with frequency, another one capacitive reactance with frequency. Now the important tips for you: inductance cannot decrease direct current, because in case of the direct current the frequency is 0, so XL is also 0. It can only decrease alternating current, because alternating current has some finite value of frequency, that is for India 50 Hz. And the capacitance allows the AC to flow through it, but it blocks DC, because in case of the DC frequency is 0, then XC equal to 1 upon 2 pi FC. If F equal to 0, then XC equal to infinite, so it block the DC but allow the AC. Now we do one conceptual problem so that you can understand it. Device A and B are connected independently to a variable frequency alternating voltage source as shown. These are the two diagrams are shown here, and both are connected to the alternating source of EMF, and these two devices are A and B, and the current in A is ahead of the voltage, and whereas it lags behind the voltage in B. Identify the devices A and B. Just you have learned the concept, apply it, and then write your answer, and after that you check your answer also. Second part, how will the current in each of these devices change on decreasing the frequency of the applied voltage? Give reason. So as you know, current is equal to voltage upon, in case of capacitor it is capacitive reactance, in case of inductor it is inductive reactance, in case of the resistance it is resistance R. So first you have to identify these two devices, then you can solve second part. So in case of device A, current ahead means lead, so that's why A device is capacitor and B device is inductor. And the second part, for calculating the current or its variation with frequency, so you know the formula, Xc equal to 1 upon 2 pi Fc, then the current I is directly proportional to Xc, and when you substitute the value of Xc, then I directly proportional to the frequency. So if the frequency decreases, then I also decreases. So in case of the device A, the current decreases with decrease in frequency. But whereas the device B is the inductor, so inductive reactance XL equal to 2 pi FL, and then the current is inversely proportional to XL. When you substitute the value of XL, then expression becomes I directly proportional to 1 upon F. As F decreases, then I increases. So in case of device B, the current increases with decrease in frequency. So this is a very important question in which the concept you have applied, which you learn it, and so many times it is asked in the examination. If you like my video, like it, subscribe it, press the bell icon, stay at home, stay healthy, learn physics through my YouTube video by staying at home. Thank you and have a nice day.